This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll start discussing about the basics of backups also initial. Okay. So
Okay.
like we are going to start and understand, okay, the backup technology. There are multiple tools of backup in the market, right? So
Okay.
what you understand from your side that, okay, you are going to learn the backup technology. What is backup? Any idea?
Uh, Backup in the sense if any disasters are happening, so we can recover the data if we have already backed up the data. Like from
Right.
storage point of view, we can back up through snapshots, snap mirror, snap vault. The same thing we can back up through this
Correct.
cohesity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm seeing that okay, one more student joined. Hi, Rishikesh. Good morning.
Hi, sir.
Hi. Okay, so we were talking about just a small introduction. Okay, so Asif has already given it. Okay, so Rishikesh, you are already working in any backup technology.
Yes,
Your voice is very slow, brother.
I know.
So
I
you are
designed.
working in the backup technology already, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So guys, so backup, like when we define in daily routine work, also it means like copying the things from one place to another place. Okay, just to secure your data. And when we say that copying the things from one place to another place, so another place could be any medium, like it could be any secondary medium, right? So when we copy our data from our laptop, okay, if we talk about the daily routine work, so we can copy our data to our external hard drive, right? And when we say that in daily routine that we used to take our WhatsApp database backup, our mail database backup, right? So that is your secondary medium that you put your data of WhatsApp on your cloud. Okay, so I can say that one of the secondary medium is your external hard drive. Okay, another is cloud. So cloud can be your Google Cloud, or okay, like any other cloud platform you have, or in the backup environment when we talk about a particular data center. Okay, so we take our backup on a like storage solutions, like disk storage solution. So any idea what are the disk storage like available for the backup targets in the market?
Flex appliance as well as big appliance.
Flex appliance. Okay, so flex appliance, like it's the like entity for the Veritas, or you can say cohesity now. Okay, so cohesity flex appliances. Okay, anything else we have? EMC data domain,
Yes, yes, yes,
right? We do have HP store ones. Okay, so that is related to the HP disk solutions. So we do have multiple disk storage solutions having like the large capacity. Okay, external hard drive when we talk about, so it's like around 1 TB, 2 TB, okay, 3 TB, 5 TB, like that. Okay, Google Cloud, we have also a particular like space, okay, which provided by cloud. Now when we talk about the disk storage on-prem solution, okay, so that can be your 400 terabyte or more than 800 terabytes. So flex appliance, if you have seen 5350 model, okay, 5250 model, so that comes with the 800 capacity also, 800 terabyte capacity also. Now another secondary medium we can have in the data center is your tape libraries, right? So we are taking our backups on the tapes, okay, just to ensure that, okay, we take the backups on the tape and then we offsite those tapes to the offsite vendor, right? So what we are talking about here, that copying the things from one place to another place, your another place can be any secondary medium. Okay, so it can be on your external hard drive, cloud, or your disk storage or tape libraries, or any other particular place like local disk, even if we are taking the backup on the another server, or any particular NFS or CIFS share where we are taking our backup. So why the backups are very important here in this like today's life, that we are taking our daily routine, we are taking our personal backup to a particular secondary medium. But when we talk about as a backup admin, okay, we are going to be a backup administrator in particular enterprise or any company. So every company, like even if it is a bank or MNC, they are relying on a particular data protection, right? Their data should be safe. So you both are working in the IT industry, right? When we go a particular bank, okay, let's suppose you reach out to a PNB bank. There are multiple employees, okay, working in the bank. So they are working on their own setup, right? Their own laptop. So when they open the application of PNB, right, they are saving their data. So is it going to their local storage or where it is going? When I say my PNB user and user is like working on their application, they're saving their data, their application is having multiple information, right? So when where this data is going, either he is saving its own data on a local disk, but where the application details, where the application data is going on, any idea? Please respond now. Even if you're not aware, then you can tell me like, okay.
No idea.
No, so whenever end user is saving their data on a particular application, right? So that application will be hosted on a particular server, right? Let's suppose PNB application is there. So there will be an application server, right?
Yeah.
Where the PNB application will be hosted. And this application server will be hosted in a particular data center, right? You do have a data center. You know about the data center, both of you?
Yes, yes.
Right? So let's suppose you have a Reliance data center in Mumbai or Bangalore. Okay. So in a particular data center, we do have multiple uh, servers. Okay. Multiple physical servers. So this is one of the application servers we are talking about, right? So application server can be accessible, okay, through remotely over the WAN by end users or by locally also. Okay. So in data center, we have multiple physical servers like application server. We do have SQL database server. We do have Oracle database server, right? So some of the application user will be using these database server or Oracle servers, right? So these are the application user. In your own company, there must be multiple servers like SharePoint server. You will have file server, Exchange servers. So now user is saving their data of application that is going on the application server in a particular data center. So how these servers will be backed up? So there will be like 500 servers, 400 servers. These days, like we do have very less physical servers in the data center. We do have moreover on virtual machines, correct? Is it right?
Yes.
So where
Yes.
the virtual machine exists, you tell me. When we talk about the virtual machines in a data center you have created, it is hosted on which particular server? Any idea, Rishikesh?
So that will be named by virtual.
Rishikesh, just try to talk little bit louder. Huh? It seems you are not using headphone or your speaker is very low. Any idea about that where the VM will be hosted?
Virtual machine.
No, virtual machines will be exist on which particular server? See,
Okay.
there will be a physical server. Okay, there will be a physical server. Have you created any time a virtual machine in your own laptop? So we use a particular workstation software, right? VMware workstation or something. We deploy
This
in your laptop.
this pair.
So vSphere is an application which manages your physical servers. Okay.
Okay.
So a particular physical server where we deploy the ESXi template. Okay, we call it as a ESXi host. Okay, we call it as a ESXi host. So ESXi host will be having its own local storage. Okay, let me just go again in a particular diagram. So let's talk about, this is your ESX box physical server. So it was a physical server where we have deployed the OS, okay, as a OS ESXi template. ESXi is a template, like it's a OS, which you have deployed on a physical server. Okay, so each and every physical server will be having its own local storage, correct? Whenever you purchase your desktop, so it is carrying like with 500 GB SSD or 1 TB hard disk, right? When you purchase a physical server, Dell or any Cisco or HP server, it comes by default with its own local storage, like local SSDs, local hard disk, right? So let's suppose this physical server was having a particular space of 5 TB. Okay, by default it come with the 5 TB. Now on this particular physical server, we have deployed the ESXi host template, and now we have created the virtual machines on this particular ESXi box by using the 5 TB local space. Okay, so this is your VM1, this is your VM2, and similar on, like you have VM3 and VM4. So this particular VM, okay, it can be like your Windows, okay, it can be your RHEL, Linux one, right? Again, there will be a different OS, like you have installed HPUX or somewhere you have installed the AIX. So these are the different virtual machines you have created on a particular box. Now you have 4 virtual machines, okay, and I told you that you do have some physical servers in your data center. Okay, it can be your SQL database, it can be your Oracle server, and it can be your Exchange, so Microsoft Exchange server, right? So in a particular data center, when we talk about, okay, now every machine will be connected to a particular, where, LAN network, right? So guys, are you
Yes.
aware about this particular line? So each and every component in the data center, whether it is physical server or whether it is your virtual machines, right? So each and every component will be connected to the LAN network. And how they are connected to a LAN network? Like there will be an interface port configured on a particular server, physical servers. What this port is called as? Tell me.
SBA, first
No,
bus adapter.
this is not the SAN connectivity. It's a LAN
NIC.
connectivity,
Okay.
right? It's a LAN
Mm-hmm.
network. So this port will be called as NIC, Network
Yeah.
Interface Card, right? Ethernet card, correct?
Okay.
And these cables will be called as Ethernet cables, right? LAN
Yeah.
cables, which are connected over the LAN. So for a LAN network, what we use? A particular LAN switch, right?
Yeah.
So every component in the data center is connected to the LAN. And why it is LAN? Because there is a LAN switch connectivity there. You work on your laptop, you go in office and you connect your LAN cable. So you know that the background LAN cable is going to a particular room that is having the LAN switch, right?
Yes.
So everybody is connected over the LAN. Now, what is the use of this NIC card? We define anything on this NIC cards, Rishikesh? We define anything? IP, right?
So it's
So
IP
let's
range.
suppose we do have this particular ESXi host physical server where we have defined the IP. So this NIC card is useful to like configure the IP of your each machine. right? See guys, I'm just checking your basics also. Before going to the backup part, you must be aware about the basics in the data center, because it is not like that you will go and start doing managing of backup tool. Okay, being a backup administrator, you have to coordinate with Windows team, you have to coordinate with network team, right? So you must be aware about the basic configuration part also. So in a data center, when you have multiple components, they are on the LAN network, they have their own NIC cards. Okay, each NIC card is configured with a particular LAN network, right? Now this LAN connectivity is there. Now, being a backup administrator, okay, what will be your responsibility? That I must deploy a particular backup server, right? So what I will do, I will create a physical server, okay, or you can take a virtual machine also. So I'm taking my physical server. I'm deploying, like I can deploy Windows OS, I can deploy RHEL, okay, 9.0 or any flavor you want that should be compatible with your software of backup. So currently we are talking about the Cohesity NetBackup. Okay. So Cohesity NetBackup, when we talk about, so the latest version of Cohesity NetBackup is 11 dot, okay, 5 also now there, right? So let's suppose you are going to install 10.x or 11.x. Okay. So there will be a compatibility that which OS will be supported, what hardware level will be supported with the new particular software, right? Now you are working as a backup administrator, right? Will be handling this particular server. Okay. So being a net backup admin, you will deploy the backup software here, right? So you will deploy like NetBackup 11.0 or 10.0. So you will deploy or install the NetBackup software on this particular server. Through this server, okay, being a backup admin, you will secure the backup of your data center servers, right? Like SQL Server, Oracle servers, Exchange, or virtual machines. So being a backup administrator, our responsibility to secure the backup of our complete data center components, right? So my server will be also connected over the LAN network. It will also have its own local area network, okay? And it will have its own IP also, right? So now, if I'm working as a NetBackup admin, okay, managing the NetBackup software, okay, and will be taking the backup of these particular components. So where we will be taking the backup? Either on a disk solution, okay, either we will be taking the backup on a disk storage, okay, or it might be if I'm taking a small backup, I can take my backup on a local disk also, right? So I can take backup on a local disk also. And what else I told you, that I can take the backup on the tape libraries, right? So we do have the tape libraries in each backup environment, right? Are you aware about the tape library hardware infrastructure? Any particular what component we do have in tape libraries? We do have tapes or tape drives. Let's suppose I have
Okay.
3 tape drives. Guys, you are aware about tape drives in the tape
Yeah.
library? Okay.
Yes.
So initially, like when we talk about, okay, we were a desktop support engineer, we were having our home appliances. So you remember that we used to use like video recorder, right? VCR, DVD
Yeah.
writers, right? So some kind of like magnetic disk we are putting there, we are writing the backups or any particular thing. Similarly, in the tape libraries, we do have the tape drives, okay, and we do have particular slots where we can insert the tapes. Okay, let's suppose I have 4 slots, empty slots. So I have put 4 tapes in the tape drive, tape library. Okay, now one by one, whenever there is a requirement, tape will be like it will be fetched from the slot and put it into the tape drive. So that is a feature like we take from the robot, there is a robotic arm inside your tape library, which works like as a robot. Whenever there is a requirement, it moves the tape from tape drive to slot or slot to tape drive. Okay. There is a magazine attached with particular tape library where the data center guy used to put the tapes. Okay. And we generally known as like IO station. We call it as a IO station. Okay. So once your NetBackup admin run the inventory from the software, it collects the tape into the empty slots. Okay. So my tape library also connect over the LAN network. Okay. My tape library also have one Ethernet card. Okay. Where the IP is defined. Okay. So what is the use of tape library IP? When I talk about tape library is also having its own IP. Any idea like why we assign the IP
To communicate.
to
Communicate.
communicate for what?
Oh,
See, our purpose
to
is
send the
my
data.
backup administrator will take the backup through this server or these particular servers to either disk storage or tape library. So it means my, we call it as a master server. Okay. NBU master server, NetBackup
Okay.
master server. Okay. Through the NetBackup's master server, we will read the data from these servers and write to the either disk storage or tape library. Okay. So you guys need to remember it. My data can transfer over the LAN network, or you can say my backup server can read the data from these servers and write to the disk storage over the LAN. So my disk storage supports the LAN communication. Okay. For data transfer. Okay. So you can access the particular IP to manage the software of the disk storage. Okay. And also to transfer the data also. For tape libraries, you cannot transfer the data over the LAN. Okay. You cannot like read the data from these servers and write to the directly tape libraries or tape drives over the LAN network. Okay. So why we use this NIC IP? Why what is the use of this IP configuration? To manage the software of library console. Okay. Tape library is having its own software, right? Each device will be having their own software, right? If you have used printer in your company, right, or your broadband at your home, how do you access it? Like you will go to a particular uh, what, Google Chrome or Edge. You will type the IP of your broadband router, or if you are using a network printer, you can open the console of your printer, right? So printer is having its own software, right? So similarly, when you use your EMC storage, NetApp storage, when you open the management IP, it open the console of your device, right, to manage your device. So tape library is also having its own software. To manage your tape library from the software itself, we configure the IP. We access this IP to manage your tape library. Okay. So how we will be communicating for the data transfer? Like we are moving the data to a disk storage over the LAN, but how we will be moving the data to our tape libraries on the tape drive? Tell me. Any idea? Rishikesh, Harshita. Sorry, Sarita. Huh? Sarita has left. Huh? Okay. Any idea, Rishikesh?
No, sir, no.
You're already working on backup, right? You must be aware that tape library, each tape drive will have its own HBA card. Okay. Each tape library. So tape library works over on SAN network. Okay. Storage area network. Fiber connectivity. So we will have one more switch here in the data center that is called SAN switch. Okay, so SAN switch support the FC ports, not the NIC ports, right? So what storage team does, Asif? So you must be aware, right? So we will use the fiber connectivity, right? We will
Zoning,
use the
we will do the zoning.
right. We will connect like tape library from this, okay, as a FC port. So fiber cable will be connected from this HBA card of each tape drive, okay, and your backup server also will have the HBA card, okay. So we will also connect a fiber cable from here to here. Okay, so now my tape library and my backup server both are on SAN switch as well. And storage team make a zoning, like inside there is a SAN switch software. Okay, storage team access the SAN switch and make a zoning between these two ports so that my backup server can see each tape drive. Okay, so whenever my backup server will be reading the data from these servers and will write the data over the tape drives over the SAN network. So you need to remember that SAN network will be used, okay, for the tape library. Okay, now we have talked about the components in the data center, that we do have physical servers, we do have virtual machines, right? We do have disk storage, tape libraries, and we have one particular server which we manage as a NetBackup admin. Okay, backup admin, and we deploy our software there, right? So when I say my master server, okay, it's my NetBackup master server. It reads the data from the client servers. So it is also called as a data mover, right? So one of the function for my backup server is acting as a data mover. It reads the data from the client servers. These are all called as a client servers. Okay, client servers are the servers which are being backed up through the backup software. This is your primary master server, primary server, where we deploy the software. Okay, and when you manage your software to take the backup of these client servers over the backup target, okay, so it's like two-tier architecture. So in NetBackup or any particular backup, whenever you go with a backup tool, okay, so you will understand there will be a architecture, that it's a two-tier architecture or it's a three-tier architecture. So here we are talking about two-tier architecture right now, where we have small client servers, like you have 10 client servers, 5 client servers, or 50 client servers, okay, and that is being backed up by your single backup server to the targets. Okay, so it becomes your two-tier architecture, right? My single backup server is acting as a data mover. It has certain other responsibilities also. So when you install any particular software, right, if you install a SQL software, it it has its own database, right? When you install a Oracle server, Oracle application, it has its own database, Oracle database. When you install Exchange application, it has its own database, Exchange database, right? So most of all application, they have their own database, okay, and they have their own services to run on the server. Similarly, each backup tool, when you talk about Commvault backup tool, Cohesity data protection, NetBackup, any other backup tool, so they create their own database inside the server. And what we call it as a, for this database for NetBackup, we call it as a NetBackup database. Okay, there are other contents also, what we say it like, we call it as a catalog database. Okay, NetBackup catalog. So what is the use of this database? Each database is having their own information. Like when the SQL team is managing their SQL application, so it will contain your SQL application database information. So it may be your banking application, it may be anything. So that information will be saved in your database. Now, what do you think? What will be the information inside this database? As a backup server database, what information will be contained by the NetBackup server in its own database? Tell me. Any idea? Asif, Rishikesh?
Hello. Catalog is
Yes.
taking that of metadata of the all files which are backup
Okay.
on the tool.
So catalog database contains your backups information. Okay. First of all, like what has been backed up, which client is backed up, what information has been backed up. Okay. Who has taken your backup? It is disk storage or like where it has been backed up on tape libraries. So these media devices related information is saved under your database. Your client server's backup information is saved on your NetBackup database. So your NetBackup software manage the database also. Okay, or we can say my master server act as a data mover, also centrally manage my database of the software, right? So we are working as a NetBackup admin. Okay. We are managing this software. Now you have understood that, okay, we have a data center, multiple components. Okay. How we are working as a backup admin. So instead of the NetBackup software, we can deploy any of the backup tool. Okay. Like it can have Palm City Data Protect, Veeam. We do have certain tools in the market. Okay. Now we'll talk about the course contents. Okay, like there are multiple topics, okay, inside your NetBackup training or any other particular training. So starting with, like, we will understand the NetBackup history. Okay, what we have the NetBackup history. Okay, how this company begins, and the basics of NetBackup, and type of schedule of your backups, like full backup, incremental, differential. Okay, there are multiple type of backup schedules. Then we'll go with the architecture of NetBackup. Okay, like two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture, how the media server, master server, client servers we have in the environment. Then we'll understand the process flow, that what are the services runs in the background in the master server or backup server. Okay, or on the client server, what software services runs. So when we talk about this diagram, okay, when we deploy the software of NetBackup, okay, when you try to install it, so it gives you two type of category, like whether you are going to install the server category or you are going to install the client category, right? So server category software we will be choosing when we are going to deploy on a NetBackup primary server. Client category software, like option, we will choose when we are deploying the software here on the client servers. Okay, so that your software can communicate to each other. Okay, you guys tell me one thing. If I want to communicate from this server to any of virtual machine or other servers, how it will be communicating as a OS communication? How you decide that my this server is communicating to this server? Tell me. How a host communicate to each other?
Through fiber channel zoning.
No, that is SAN network, right?
Okay.
That is one
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
thing. Another is, I
Okay.
told you, LAN, right?
Yeah,
So
LAN. Yeah.
like it should work on ping. You will ping to another server, right? Ping
Yes.
over IP, or how can you ping? Ping over host name, correct?
FQDN.
So,
Yeah.
so either you ping like host name of SQL server from here, or you will ping the IP of the SQL server from here. Then only you can check that, okay, communication is there, correct? And
Yes.
IP is always communicating, right? IP is always open to communicate. They will ping, but you cannot ping on host name until your DNS is configured, right? DNS require, DNS, domain name service. So we
Yes.
require DNS to be resolved. If I ping by host name, let's suppose I type here on the master server, I type like ping space SQL server. SQL server is the host name. So it will not ping until this server will be having the DNS entries, or we have to make the host file entries manually, right? I'm not sure if you guys are aware about host files. So host file, we manually add the entry, correct? Rishikesh, are you aware about host files? Rishikesh?
The host file, we are adding etc host entry in the host file.
Correct. etc
Right.
host, that where we add the entries of particular server which we want to communicate, right? But host file are not required if DNS is configured in your environment. Okay. So each server is having their own information and communicate over the LAN. Okay. Now we were talking about the course menu. We'll understand about the logging part, how the logs are created in NetBackup. Okay. There are like unified logs. There are basic logs. So whatever services runs in the master server, they create their own logs also. Okay. So logging should be important because whenever you do troubleshooting of your backup failures, we have to review the logs. Then we'll understand the installation, like installation of NetBackup software over the master server. Okay. Media servers. There is another entity, we call it as a media server. Okay. So now let's talk about the media server also. We have talked about only one primary server, and we are having like small client servers, few client servers, 10, 15, 50 client servers. So my single backup server can take the backup with a limitation, right? Let's suppose its hardware is 16 GB memory, okay, like 4 core CPUs, and we do have 128 GB RAM, kind of, okay. But it can take the backup up to a limitation, right? Because every hardware is having a limitation to take the backup of components. So in order to load balance, to provide the load balance, okay, let's suppose you are going a small, not a small company, you are having a big data center, you are having thousand of servers in your environment, right? You have 2000 virtual machines and at least 500 physical servers in your environment. So your single backup server will not enough to accommodate all the backup load. What we do, we bring some additional load balancer, okay, or additional servers in the environment in the data center, and we call it as a data mover, okay, also, but we call it as a media server. Okay, media servers. So this is your media server, this is another media server too, right? And they are also connected over the LAN network. So now we have introduced these two media servers to load balance the load of my master server. Okay. So let's suppose you have 4 virtual machines and 3 physical servers. So virtual machines can be backed up by one of the media server, and these 3 physical servers can be backed up by another media server, right? And I have free up my master server. My master server will not be backing up anything. It will manage its own database now. Okay. So load has been given to the another servers for what? Data moving. So my master server will instruct to media server will connect to these servers and read the data and write to the required targets. Okay. So these second entity, we call it as a media server. Now if we talk about the complete architecture, it's a three-way architecture. One is your master server, another is your media server, and third is your client servers. When we were talking about the small environment, okay, where company do not want to spend much money, okay, because we are having limited client numbers, so we have one master server and client servers. So these are two tier architecture. Okay. So there will be different topic we will go through after installation. Like we will understand the activity monitor, like the console of your software. We'll understand that, okay, how the backups are monitored, okay, how the jobs are resumed, how to initiate your jobs, okay. And we'll understand about the catalog backup. Catalog means your database, okay. We discussed about it, the NetBackup database. So it's very important to secure your database backup, okay. So what we are talking about here, if my master server is crashed, this is my primary server and it is corrupted. So whatever backup we have taken, their information is inside the database, right? And if we do not protect this database backup, so in case of my master server disaster, I will not be able to recover my server back and recover the database, right? So each database team also take the backup of their database. Similarly, NetBackup server database is also protected. That is called your catalog database backup. Okay. So we'll understand how the catalog backup is configured, how we can do the recovery of your catalog database. Okay. Then we'll understand the backup policies, like how to configure the backup policies. Okay. There will be different backup policies to secure the Windows server backup, database backup, Linux server backup. Okay. And we also understood that, okay, the devices we have configured here physically, how they will be configured logically in the software, right? You bring your printer at your home, so that is your hardware device. You can connect to network, you can connect with USB cable to your laptop, but will it work until the software of driver is configured on your laptop? No, na, right? So similarly, whatever disk storage, whatever tape libraries we are going to configure in the environment, that should be also configured with the drivers, okay, with the software on the backup server also. Then only it will work. So we'll understand that how logically we configure the devices in the NetBackup software or on the OS part. Okay. We'll also understand the reporting part, that how the reporting of backups get done, how you will get your backup server backup status reports, okay, alerting of failures of backups. And we'll also understand the media device management, means how to manage your tape libraries, how to manage your media, how to manage your disk storage solution. That will come under media device management. There will be a vault configuration management, like in your tape libraries, we eject the tapes manually on daily basis. Okay. And those tapes are secured to a offsite vendor site. So to automate this process of ejection of tapes, we use vault configuration. Okay. Then we will understand the restores. We have multiple type of backups, right? We have talked about here. So we do have VM backups, right? We do have file level backup. File level backup means D drive backup, all local drives backup, okay? File level backups. VM backup means snapshot backup, okay? Net backup will create a snapshot of virtual machine over the ESX host and read the snapshot here. So that is like a snapshot backup. What else we have? Database backup in the environment. And we do have like storage NAS shares backup. Okay. So we do have multiple type of backups in the environment, right? For that, we configure the multiple backup policies in the environment. And similarly, restore will be done also, right? If my virtual machine is corrupted, I will restore via the VM backup. If my database is corrupted, I will restore by the database backup. Okay. If I have the storage NAS shares backup, yeah, right, Asif, you know that you create NFS, CIFS in your
Yeah,
storage,
yeah. NAS shares means both will include, right?
right? Both
NFS and
NFS and
chips.
CIFS shares. So from
Yeah,
your side, you take a snapshot, okay, for those things.
yeah.
But
Yes.
if you're not, but you have a limited frequency of your snapshot, right? 2 weeks, 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you might be taking thrice in a day, but that will be having a shorter retention. But if you want to
Yes.
keep the longer retention of your NAS shares, we use the backup software. Okay. So
Yes.
we take
Yes.
it directly from the storage NAS connectivity, and your backup server directly take a backup from your NAS shares and secure on the disk storage or tape libraries for a longer retention, like 1 year, 7 years, like those.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, later on, we'll understand, okay, how the virtual machine backups configuration are done. So we'll understand each backup and restore. Okay. And we'll literally, finally, we'll be understanding, okay, how to troubleshoot your backups, what are the general error, and what are the commands we used in the NetBackup environment. Okay. We'll understand the GUI console also, and we'll understand the CLI console also. Like in your backup software, when you manage this software, okay, so we do have command line interface, okay, where we can manage our net backup software. We do have Java console, like through the Java console we manage the backup server, backup tool, or we you have web UI also, okay, your web interface. So we do have multiple ways to manage our net backup software. So we'll understand that how to manage your net backup software. Clear? So slowly we'll understand, okay, that what we have in backup, okay, why the backups are important. We have understood the criticality of backup, that in every company data is protected, right, on your data center and a particular target. So today's, like when we talk about any MNCs or anything, so they protect their data on a high level. They protect their data with the ransomware attacks. Okay, our backup should be immutable. So whatever backups we will be taking on a particular target, that should be immutable. Okay, on your storage also, I'm sure that NetApp or any Dell EMC Unity, when you are using it, it has the some kind of immutability to protect your data on a storage, okay, from the ransomware, right? I'm not sure if you have configured, Asif, correct me.
Which one?
Your storage are immutable, like whatever storage
Immutable.
you're managing, they are
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
bomb protected or ransomware protected, right?
Yes. Yes.
So importance of backups are there, right? We do have multiple backup technologies in the market, right? Initially, when I talk about a very small utility in our laptop or server, that is anti backup. Today it is known as server backup utility. We do have semantic backup exec, net backup, okay, that is now today's the cohesity net backup. HP data protector we have, okay, IBM TSM, EMC networker. There are multiple tools in the market right now. Rubrik, Veeam, Cohesity, okay. So we have understood what is backup also. That backup is like copying the things from one place to another to a secondary medium, right? And n number of software in the market. Okay, we do have multiple type of schedules in our backup. Now you tell me, what is the advantage of using the backup software? Since then we are talking about the backup software, okay, we cannot copy the data of each server in the data center, like putting a pen drive beside behind your servers and take the backup. It's not feasible. If you have thousands of servers in your data center, you cannot put the pen drive or external hard disk to take the backup, right? We need a centralized software to manage the data center, all physical servers and virtual machine backup, right? So these backup tools are very important. They are enterprise level softwares, okay, not only inbuilt software or just to manage your laptop, right? So through the backup software, what are the features we can do? Tell me. So first, like when we talk about is centralize manage.
It's a license, right?
Yeah, it's a licensing software,
Okay.
right? And so through the backup software, we can schedule the backups, right? You see your WhatsApp backup on daily basis, get starting backup in a night window, right? That is automatic schedule you have configured. So scheduling the backup of particular servers is feasible through the software, right? Scheduling the backup. There are some other feature we get, like what we get, compression, right? We get
Yeah.
some kind of compression in the data, that it can compress the size of your backup, right? If you talk about external hard disk, you take first time full backup of your laptop, okay, and 100 GB backup is done. Next time you will take, again you will take the full backup, again you need the 100 GB, right? So every time you are doing the full backup, and that will not compress your data, right? So software compress your data on a particular data target, right? You also get the feature of encryption, that you can encrypt your data by the software. On the hardware side, like on the data domain, on the flex appliance, we do get encryption, but software side also we get the encryption also, right? Have you heard about deduplication, Rishikesh?
Yes, yes. It removes
Rishikesh,
duplicate
Rishikesh,
blocks.
have you heard about deduplication?
Yes, yes, let's deep
So
into
deduplication is what?
It removes duplicate blocks.
Correct. So it removes the duplicate chunks, okay, on the file level or block level. So however, how you are using it, that removes the duplication chunks, and like again, it saves the
Identical
space on your
chunks.
target storage. Okay.
It stores identical chunks.
Yes, correct. It stores only the identical chunks. Okay. Like I mean unique chunks. Okay, not
Yeah,
identical,
unique.
unique chunks.
Yeah, unique. Correct.
Okay, so we do get multiple features in the software, right? That's why we are using the enterprise software. We do have licensing, capacity based licensing, traditional licensing, okay, centralized software, web UI console. Now these days, like it's like on SaaS and Helios, that you can manage your software of your company environment anywhere if it is open, okay. That kind of feature is available, right? So guys, till we have talked about the software environment, okay, backup, net backup introduction. Now there will be a lab also. Let me just unshare my screen and show you. Okay, so right now you can see here that we do have our own remote lab, okay, where we have like one ESXi host, one VMware appliance, okay, and you will get the environment of Windows, like where we have you can access directly the jump server, and you can access your master server, media server, and client server, okay, for Windows environment. And one of the Linux environment will be there for backup, okay. So we can do the practice over the Windows also and Linux also, right? There will be one AD server, domain controller, okay. So there will be two environment in the lab, like one will be Windows, one will be Linux, to manage your net backup software, okay. Like I'm just showing you, 1 second. So you will be accessing your lab, okay. We'll be providing you the remote lab access. This will be a public IP, okay. Directly you will be connecting to this jump server, okay. This is your jump server. From here you can access your backup server also, okay. Like this is your Windows master server I'm accessing right now. Okay, so this is like your Windows server, where we deployed that net backup application 10.5.0.1. Okay, later on we will upgrade to 11.x also. So I'm just opening the console for you. Okay, I said
Hi, good afternoon.
good afternoon. Say just 1 minute, huh? Okay, I'm just winding up this class. Can you join 12:30?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, Aditya will join at 1:30, 12:30. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So this is our NBU Master 1. So student is doing the practice on this particular lab. Okay. So so they have kept the same password. So we are connecting to the NetBackup software now. Okay, it's a 10.5.0.1 version right now. Later on, we will upgrade to 11.x. Okay, so this is your NetBackup console. Okay, which I was talking about.
Okay.
Here we manage the NetBackup jobs. Okay, like similarly, we manage our catalog. Here we configure our backup policies. So we'll understand each and every option. Okay, once we will go through this, we'll understand. Right, this is your catalog backup policy, like how we are protecting your catalog data. So you will get this access of your lab. Okay, now guys, you tell me like if you have any other queries so that I can answer.
Like cohesity when you are going to take?